Hey, yo, what's good, man? It's your host, Cleve. Welcome to the Third Coast Podcast with my man,
Joe. What it do, Gators?
What it do, man? It's your host, Cleve. Third Coast Podcast.
Joe, what it do, Gators? Joe, what it do, Gators?
Welcome to the Third Coast Podcast with your host, Cleve, and my main man, Gator. What it do?
What it do, Gators?
Man, how was your weekend?
Oh, dude. Went and explored the wonders of the fair. We went to the Kashada Fair in Kinder. And let me tell you, games are still rigged out there, everybody. A lot of people might not know, but I do have some days is better than others, but you know, I have a job where I lift a lot of weight,
Right.
to say the least. And I did the sledgehammer to hit the bell right.
I seen that.
And
I was crying.
I'm talking about I was swinging that thing. This young dude's like, yeah, just go up there and bend at the knees and swing it. And I'm looking at him, I'm twice his size and stuff. And I was really swinging that hammer.
That.
And it went bloop halfway up.
I was like,
it.
ain't no fucking way. I was like, this man pulled logs.
Yeah, for real. Oh.
I'm sorry,
yeah,
man. Like, not always, but yeah, man. Like I know you got some street back in you. It is like I was looking at the thing. It said, "Oh no!" Like at the 12. It's like, oh no. I was crying, laughing, and then I see you really give it so. And it was like, oh my.
Hey, that's the way. That's just the way the carnival game goes, and the kids are getting at the age now. Like, I brought them out there, and Alyssa had a lot more fun than the boys did. But the Nicholas took on the tall task and rode the zero gravity, the thing that just free spins.
Right.
Fuck all that, because I don't know.
What did he have to say about it when he got off?
He said, I'm not doing that again. And that was about it. We ate some food and left, but it's been a good weekend, you know, hang out with the Bambinos, and, you know, they're getting older. Charles will be 14 this month, so only got a little bit of time left before they realize they can go do stuff without me being around, so.
Right.
It was good. How was your weekend, homie?
My weekend was pretty good. My daughter actually just had a birthday pass October 6th. Yeah, she just made 9. Like, I didn't get her this weekend, unfortunately, but she did. Her mom did a good job with her birthday, and she took her out. And in the course of, you know, the time being, I was busy. I was with work and all of that. But aside from that, you know, I did get a lot accomplished this weekend. I've actually been picking up into some hobbies from the past, so hopefully, you know, I'll be able to display some of that in the near future. But yeah, like I picked up the guitar again.
That's good.
And you know, I don't know, it's just like I pick it up every now and again. I don't spend much time with it as I used to when I was actively playing in the band, but I've come to find myself like reoccurring to find new patterns and wanting to try like new sounds, new things, and explore my range. And, you know, even at work, like I'll scat some of the sounds out so I can come home later, play it, produce it into a sound. And that's what made me think about hitting up Zane. You know, shout out Zane. I don't know if you still be checking out the episodes or not, but
we still love you, Zane.
We still love you.
Lafayette, right?
Yeah,
it's Lafayette.
Yeah, Lafayette. And I've been thinking about hitting Zane up to get with him about recording some of these ideas, and haven't even told Jacoby about it. It's like, matter of fact, my first mentioning it here. So you guys will be the first to know that I'll be picking up on that probably hopefully by the beginning of 2024, I'll have a song written.
Oh, that's what's up.
Because I want to get back into writing again, you know, and I feel like, you know, I have a lot of time that I could disperse towards it. So,
yeah. Speaking of getting into music, next week, actually tomorrow, I got alumni band practice number 2, and these people did not tell me that homecoming we got to perform Friday.
Oh snap!
I got like 4 songs I gotta learn by. Well, I know one, obvious Warrior Fever, but I got like 3 songs I gotta learn by Friday and go out there and perform. Which I used to do it way back when, but it's still kind of, I don't know. I got a little bit of butterflies about going out there and doing
Right,
that again.
man. That's when you take them butterflies and flute it out in that trombone, buddy.
I'm about to say, I thought you were about to say I play the flute. I was
Oh
like,
no,
ooh,
nah,
no.
negative. Nah, I wouldn't dare put that on you.
They what's kind of it's kind of sad. They don't have a sousaphone. When I was in marching band, they had 3 in there, but now they don't have none. And Jermaine was going to come out and play, but he don't want to play quads. He wanted to play the sousaphone, and he was fucking good
Yeah,
at
he
it.
was good.
I can play it too, and I was going to play it with him, but I got to play the trombone, which is still fine, but it would have been cool. Like, sousaphone is a cool instrument to play. And for the listeners out there, if y'all don't know what a sousaphone is, it is the marching. Damn, my brain froze. The marching, goddamn tuba. Brain work. There we go. I got quiet for. I edited
That's
that
my
out.
fault because
Possibly.
I
I don't
didn't
know
know.
what. My brain just went silent for a second. It was like, "Where's it
I
at?
didn't know.
Where's it at?" And it's the marching tuba, but usually the tuba is real big and you sit with it and it has the 3 valves on it and it
Right.
plays like the baritone or the trumpet or whatever. But the sousaphone, you get it like right in the chest, but it just produces such a loud bass sound. It's like if you have a sub in your car, that's what a sousaphone is in a marching band, basically.
It's just like a sub behind the
Yeah,
tuba.
yeah. You get the percussion area, the drums going, the bass drums, especially if you got like the different levels, like the small, the medium, and the large bass drums, and then you got that sousaphone. That's what makes marching band. But I digress. Big shout out to Kobai on the Salty Waters by Michigan or some shit, he said, or Rhode Island.
I think he said Rhode Island or something like that.
Yeah, he's out there.
Don't quote me on that, you guys. I'm freezing up over here.
He's a big shout out, Kobai. He's supposed to come back in maybe next week after, and we
I
have
think
back
the
on the
week
show.
after.
So that'd be nice to see his Kahobai. It'd be nice to see him.
Yeah.
But hope the listeners out there enjoyed our 4 interviews from Fête. We ran into a lot of complications, cancellations, time delays, and the heat actually was a big factor while we lost a lot of our video content. But overall, my personal view of it was a very fun, eventful, very connective year. And
Yeah, I definitely enjoy Fit. Like even like within within the show, like just the different interviews, we did get some pretty solid interviews.
Oh, yeah.
There were a few mild complications, but
the
that's just
snake.
with the snake. But aside from that, even with that being in the picture, you run into those type of problems, and I feel like our listeners understand like when there are complications with the different variables at play. With new people, new guests, the content, the picture, the whole graph of it. You do have viewers out there, I'm pretty sure, that value that. And then you just have just the base listeners that just want to hear the information. It's like, okay, what you guys talking about? It's like, is it anything relative? And, once they gather that information, they're on with their day. But with FET, it's... Yeah, I definitely enjoyed myself like the entire weekend. Like I had fun. I had a good time, like, meeting the people and, just the whole experience of it all. It's like I never really got to fully enjoy it as much as I did with you this year. So, shouts out to that. So.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. The comedy shows was good. If you ever want to go on open mic, just try to stay away from certain questions or certain topics. If you can't deliver it, then don't try to send it.
If anything, yeah, we all think that performance is progress. If you're bold enough to say it, if you're brave enough to do it, by all means have the courage, but don't be a fool up there, just be mindful of of the opportunity at hand. Like if there's a good thing ahead of you, present it, deliver it. I don't know, stand by that.
I hope for the people that did come see us in the artist section, we do have a few stories that we could tell. I could tell right quick to the listeners that it's a little background of what was happening at Fête. So when we were at Fête recording, we set up in the artist area this year, the artist vendor area this year, trying a new spot out to see, to fill out the area and stuff. And we got there, we set up, and we actually set up across from Kylie, the artist. Y'all make sure y'all go check her out on Instagram, Facebook, and all that beautiful stuff. But she was set up across from us, and the clean out, if you don't know what a clean out, it's like a plumbing thing for sewage. And someone hit it and it ruptured, so she had to move her tent. So we helped her move her tent or whatever, but we were setting up to do the Tristan Dufran interview, and they had called the local plumbers out. And as soon as we set up to do that interview, they started running a mechanical snake in the background.
Right.
And fucked the audio all up. Excuse my French, but messed the audio all up. So very sad for that to happen, but at least we got the audio out there. It ain't the greatest, but that's one of those things that kind of happened. If y'all listen to that episode, just want to give y'all a little insight to what happened. And then just in general, a festival, it was kind of loud there. So next year we're going to have to move around and find a little bit quieter spot. But one of my favorite things about Fête, besides recording, was going to get the fucking chili grilly with Ben Jones. Shout out Ben Jones.
Yeah, shout out Ben.
TikTok at Pawnee Pines, Instagram Pawnee Pines. Check out our buddy Ben Jones. But he was at the chili grilly with a pickle and boudin. Never thought in the world that shit would taste good together, but it was. What's the young kid say? Bussin'?
Yeah, that shit was bussin'. Yeah. Yeah, that's dope, bro.
What was one of your favorite things about Fête this year, Cleve?
But beside the Lost Bayou Ramblers,
Yeah,
that was dope, man. Like I'm not even gonna.
I was right up in the middle of that shit.
I seen it, man. Like I just kind of wanted to admire it from a distance. I didn't want to get too thick into the crowd. Start that because you was trying to catch me dancing that night. I was like, man, nah, I'm not.
No, I would. We would have went back. See, that's the only thing
like,
we need. We need that
viral.
for TikTok. We need it. No, not for everything. It's just something about TikTok that everybody likes dancing on that shit for some reason.
Yeah,
but
y'all would have called me Zaddy Cohen, but yeah. Besides that, I like the comedy. Yeah, I like the comedy.
Big shout out Chris True.
Yeah, big shout out to Chris True. Just everything with the comedy hour, going there, sitting down, enjoying the theme. It's like, it kind of took me to New Orleans for a second when I was watching that show. It made me think about episode 200, how we was all set up. And
oh, yeah.
Yeah, it just, it definitely took me outside of the element that, normally like when you go to a festival, you have a general graph of your location. I didn't feel like I was in Oakdale when I was watching that show. So I think that was probably like my favorite part of the Fête Du VOID experience. It's a lot of things, but that's just one of the main highlights that I like to, put out there.
And which, we'll bring it right up into it. Big shout out to Chris True for inviting us, Third Coast Podcast, on all major streaming platforms, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, on 5000ws.thirdcoastpodcast.com. iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Public Radio, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, all that nice jazz. Find us, listen, like, and subscribe. But Chris True has invited us to go down to New Orleans for a 1-hour segment during Hell Yes Fest on the 17th of November. And yours truly, me and Cleve, will be going down to handle that business, where we will be sitting down with 6 comedians in an hour segment, and we were going to knock it out. And we're very blessed and thankful. And this is the 10th annual Hell Yes Fest. It's the 10th year they've done it. And it kicks off Friday. It actually kicked off. It will kick off
In
November the 13th. And I think that's a Friday too. But at the Joy Theater. And Troy Duplichan will be opening it. One of the comedians that was at Fête, which killed it, by the way. He
Right.
uh,
Yeah, some great guys out there.
when he said that he just goes stands next to somebody that is smoking weed and just hope they pass it to him. Like I was like that he is hilarious. I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's at Troy Duplichan on Instagram and at Facebook. So make sure y'all go check him out. He's a hilarious dude and a wonderful comedian and a wonderful person too. But yeah. So Cleve, I got a question for you.
Okay, shoot it.
Did you see what happened over New Iberia during the solar eclipse the night before? The big old ring in the sky?
I did not see what happened.
They're saying it was like a pre-something. This, I don't have no notes on this, but I recently saw this. But it's like, with everything that, is being presented right now, and then like over the night sky, there's a big ring and some weird like figure floating by. Not a figure, but like a ship-like thing. And then it disappeared out of the Louisiana night sky. With everything that's going on, it's like, brings me back to 210, makes me think. Are they really coming? Is it really happening? Is the dimensions opening? Is the sea of information of aliens? Are
you referring to a ship that was allegedly seen over the?
Not allegedly, but I seen the video. Like people were recording. It was like this big, like, circle, and it was glowing in the sky. And then like there was a little, like, ship-like thing next to it for a little while, and it was over New Iberia, like southwest Louisiana, more south than us, but it was glowing for a little bit, then it disappeared, and then like people have footage of it all over the place, UFO shit,
Yeah.
They said UFOs are real now, so like there was a real UFO sighting just recently, and they're like, must be something from the solar eclipse. And it was like, no, that happens tomorrow. That don't happen.
Yeah, they burst it off or something like that. Okay, yeah, so.
I'll show you the video at the show. Y'all should check that. It's wild. Some Louisiana stuff happening.
Hey, man, but that's awesome, though, because, I mean, you, myself, and Jacoby have been on a pretty wide-range topic of, like, the UFO activity and just how it correlates with the show and how it correlates with, like, our listeners and people just out there who just simply want to know the truth about, what's really out there. And I just think that with more and more sightings, like, we just need to be aware of, like, which ships are ours and what ships are the real ones. Because they have reverse engineered ships that could be used for propaganda because they have the knowledge, allegedly. And it's not just us. There are others whose names won't be mentioned, for the security of this podcast and for us to continue the episodes in this likeness. But
I wonder one day if we're recording the show and they like pull in the door. Oh, it's Thurgle. Oh.
That's the last word. There goes podcast.
Just getting like, you're spreading the truth or the secondhand truth.
Right, because, like, I mean, if it were that serious, then we would have had to have crossed the line and saying something that was more than, I guess, truthful. It would have to be offensive to someone. Someone would have to be really angry to be like, those guys gotta go.
Yeah, especially when, you can just get on Google and find a lot of this information, like that NSA spy hubs. You can just Google them, and they'll tell you where all of them are at,
Right.
It's just I think a lot of times I like to think we bring up information that people just are too lazy to find. And we're just like, hey, did you know this shit? Hey, did you know what the government does here? And then it's not nothing that they couldn't actually find on their own. You know what I'm saying? It's just like we bring it to.
It's a spark of interest.
Yeah, it's just there's so much good that knowledge is fucking crazy. Like just when you start learning stuff and you start retaining it. I wish I would have done stuff like this when I was in school. I'd be a history major somewhere right now.
I feel like I did at some point, and then I just strayed away from it because nobody was interested. They just had too much going on in their lives. Like, man, fuck what you talking about, man. My bills, dude, boy. Damn it, man. Speaking of information,
Yeah, we got this is something that has been recently brought up and brought to light, and it's a real cool story, and it's cool, but it sucks in the same time because of the time period and the way things transpired during that time, and oppression and knowledge withheld because it was, lack of better terms, you know what I'm saying? It was just fucking pure racism at one point.
systemic.
Yeah.
Yeah, systemic will be the lighter word of the racism that was given at this time, but it's one of the many stories that are lost.
Yes.
It needs to be brought to light. I feel that anyone who values information in the course of the way it shaped history
Yes.
would be open to listen. You know, I strongly feel that. You want me to start it off, or?
Yes, and before that, I would like to big shout out to Dusky Waters for the information about the banjo, because I never knew that.
I never
before
knew,
that.
Yeah, I never knew that either. As far as that lost instrument, like, and me, I play guitar. You would think it's like, man, you play instruments, like you should very well know. I just know about the depths of like jazz and the origins of it and how it was written and created, but not to break it down even further into the instruments. And that was some insightful information.
I never knew that about the banjo. Make sure y'all check out that interview that's on YouTube and on all major streaming platforms. But yeah, Cleve, my bad. I was just
No, it's okay. So in Pineville, LA, when names like Orville and Wilbur Wright are mentioned, the beginning of aviation was often thought that follows, but history is changing, and it may be time to introduce another name into the conversation. He's doing something that virtually no other person in world history did, and he did it here in Pineville, said local historian Michael Wine. Meet Charles Frederick Page, a black man born into slavery that taught himself how to read and write, but more impressively, according to the local historian Michael Wine, patented the first airship. It's a story that's truly unbelievable, and not only unbelievable that it happened, unbelievable it's being ignored until 2023. Wine has uncovered local newspaper articles and reports from 1904 recording the outstanding feat of flight by a black man and his airship. His research even further led him to find Charles F. Page patented predates that of the Wright brothers. I think Page deserves that whenever the Wright brothers are mentioned, Page should also be mentioned to some extent in our national history books. The innovative accomplishments of Page are not only confirmed by historical record, but have lived on through family lore, and Joseph Page, Frederick's grandson, is glad that his accomplishments are finally being recognized. For our grandfather to be finally recognized for his contribution to aviation, it's a significant event, not just for our family, but also for Central Louisiana. Okay, I'm going to stop right there just to say, like, you know, appreciation for an effort that's valued and we benefit from today. Congratulations to this man for discovering, you know, the beauty of the airship. And it's a, you know, to kind of digress, I want to say like the automobile was another invention that was created by a black man, but what was the guy's name? Henry Ford had got the patent to mass produce and manufacture it, but they kind of like put the guy on the back burner that created the automobile. And it's the same thing with this airship that I'm reading about. But regardless of how, and this is just for people in 2023, regardless of how the information is received and at the time that it occurred, what took place for it to be discovered now, at least the information was brought to light. It may take some time, 10 years, 100 years, for the record, 1,000 years when it comes to more sensitive topics, but topics of, race and inventions and discoveries, it takes about 100 years for people to get comfortable with the idea that maybe what they believe isn't actually what they believed. And it takes generations to make that change the same way that they discovered it. But you had any thoughts?
No, I was just saying it's being heard. At least the story is being heard now. Sometimes you can't get away from the past, but at least it lived and it's being brought now. And
right.
Maybe he's looking down somewhere and the light's shining and and this just where it's being passed on through generation and generation, and finally this is the time where it can be brought to light and it can be accepted and it can be known, and it will always be known after that.
Right.
So it has a significance. It sucks, but at least it has significance. Like it's like that final closure, I guess. That's how I look at it, and I know I can look at it in my own light, but I like that we can find stuff like this and we can talk about it, and this is cool. That's great, like I'm glad that his family and they're getting recognized for that hard work.
Right. But even to add to that, the city of Pineville unveiled a historical landmark in honor of Frederick Page on the land that he and his family have owned since he purchased it over 100 years ago. Pineville Mayor Rich Dupree has known the Page family since the early 2000s for economic additions to the property, and now he shares the unveiling of history with them. We need to remember where we come from, and the history is unveiled today in a very special way in the city of Pineville, said Mayor Dupree. So it goes into the same light of information. It's just as long as it's being presented and the people can know this information, history for Central Louisiana is changing, and Joseph Page hopes it changes elsewhere as well. But yeah, that's good that the city, gave something back for the efforts that were given. Want to say Joseph Page say, you hear about the airplane, you immediately think about Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, and the Wright brothers, but you've never heard of Charles Frederick Page. Now Pineville has a historical marker honoring Charles Frederick Page for his innovation and contributions to the community of Pineville. As for the airship, Page patented in 1906, there is no surviving model because Page was sending his model to St. Louis for a world convention, and Wine said it was presumably destroyed. It was shipped and something happened, said Wine. Now, due to the Jim Crow prejudice of that time, we firmly believe that it was stolen and destroyed. After the destruction of the airship, Page changed route due to the racial obstacles of the time and reportedly went about his life no longer pursuing aviation excellence, but rather excellence for his community and family, including future descendants like Darrell Davidson. It's very obvious that there were barriers and challenges that kept other people from making it as far as even if It's very obvious that there were barriers and challenges that kept other people from making it as far as even he did. Pineville's recognition of Page marked history for Central Louisiana, but it is also a message people should remember about history. Something I may have shared with the group before is like I wanted to learn how to fly planes and I wanted to learn how to build planes. Like when I was in high school, like how they say like what do you want to be whenever you grow up? It's a question for you. What did you want to be whenever you grew up when you were a kid?
I always just wanted to be a cook, actually. I like cooking.
Yeah, I wanted to build planes. I wanted to build design planes. I wanted to try to figure out like what type of energy would be the most efficient to make a plane, but I feel like that was too far out of my reach. And then sharing this like with, it's like teachers have a special way of grading their students. So it's just like, I don't know, schooling and everything that was in play. I feel like a lot of that had a part to play in why I didn't, but a lot of it was my own efforts too. So didn't become a pilot. I'm on a podcast.
You are a hell of a guitarist, too, and a hell of a friend.
Oh, I appreciate it, bro. Yeah, if anything, yeah, passion takes creativity to, greater planes. I believe that in every bit, like anybody can inspire other people, no matter from what demographic, it's just, I feel like with information, it's like how we accept it. Yeah, sure. I feel like with information, like how we accept it, shouts out to you because, you playing in the band in high school.
Oh, you talking about going back to do that? You were reminding me.
Yeah,
oh, no.
like going back to Lizzie Burns.
Oh, wow.
No, real shit though. It's like seeing you, Kobe D, and Russell playing the bounce. Like, man,
shout out
Russell.
Shout out to the TCP Horde. We're going stronger, getting bigger. Make sure that we are running meme of the month. Make sure you post your meme in the group for a chance to win a free TCP shirt. Misty, your package is on the way. I know you're going to listen to this. I'm so sorry that's taken so long. She's been hitting me up like she's just wanting to wear one of our. Can I buy it? I'm like, no, I'm gonna send it to you.
Just send it to her,
I
man.
keep forgetting I'm busy. Big shout out to Lee Catherine out in Ville Platte. She's sending us some of her koozies for Lee Cat Farms. I think that's what it's called. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But make sure y'all check her out. She's on Facebook and Instagram too, probably. Cleve, I want to talk about NASA right quick, if that's okay. Go interstellar. So the first peek inside the NASA OSIRIS-REx capsule is a glimpse back into time. Scientists finally began opening the rock sample from a near-Earth asteroid Bennu. NASA OSIRIS captured a treasure trove of material from the solar system's earlier days. At long last, NASA's curation scientists have revealed that OSIRIS REx has came back from an asteroid that is 1 million miles away. The 7-year mission scooped up a rock sample from Bennu in 2020, then returned to Earth in September, parachuting down in the Utah desert. Scientists painfully staked and cleaned and shipped the capsule to Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. I wonder why it's called Johnson. Like Johnson and Johnson?
To correct you, it's 100 million miles away.
Oh, what did I say?
1 million.
Oh, 100 million miles away. My bad, listeners.
That's a whole lot of miles.
That's a whole lot of traveling. Okay, so the capsule to space, Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, making sure none of the rocks were contaminated by exposure to oxygen, moisture, or earthly bacteria. And they are now analyzing this precious cargo. NASA staged a public reveal in front of a small audience of reporters, policymakers, and students from local districts, and streamed it live on NASA TV and the agency website, determining the scientific story of these space rocks. Where did Bennu come from? Does it contain organic molecules or rare metals? And what's their origin? And now can be standing at the podium on stage before a live screen. NASA Administrator Bill Nelson stepped up and revealed 7 years, almost 4 billion miles of journey throughout the solar system, the asteroid Bennu and back began. He said, recapping the mission for the audience 3 weeks ago, he continued, the sample return landed in Utah right on the money. It was a picture-perfect mission, and it's a feat of engineering, and it's NASA's first ever sample from an asteroid. I'm going to stop right there. So, it's a lot of money, first off. A lot of engineering, but they landed on an asteroid, collected a fucking sample from an asteroid. Apologize for my bad reading, everybody. And they brought that bitch back and landed it perfectly in the desert and
in
preserved
Utah,
it. Yeah.
of all places.
But you know what I'm saying? Just they landed on an asteroid, collected an asteroid sample, and flew it back to the Earth. What the fuck is that? That's crazy.
The shit that we've been watching is no surprise to me that they have mastered like the way that they can collect these samples. Like Mars was the first experiment. You know, for us to go to Mars, collect a sample, come back, we've done that. So now that we've reached Mars, our next step is to reach asteroids. But to go 100 million miles, which is more, pretty sure, probably beyond our asteroid belt.
Oh, yeah.
Easily. Just that amount of distance, like just to give the listeners like an idea of like that distance outside of our solar system and then come back into our solar system successfully in Utah, of all places.
An asteroid traveling through space and time.
Perfectly.
They landed perfectly on it, collected a rock sample while it's moving. So they landed on a fast-moving object in space, collected a rock sample, launched off of it, and came all the way back to Earth and landed it perfectly. That is so...
What kind of math would you need?
It just blows my... Because it's moving through everything. We're moving through space. The asteroid's moving through space. The fucking drone or whatever the fuck they sent up there to collect the samples moved through space. It landed on it and came back like it was fucking nothing. That is... It blows my fucking mind how crazy that is.
It's what you call a coldly calculated design.
But, so are you ready to see the results of the mission? Take a peek. As the audience cheered, the video outside the main sample container, NASA first analyst shows they contain water and hydrated clay materials, as well as carbon and organic molecules, he said. This carbon is 4.7% of the sample by weight. The carbon and the water molecules are exactly the kind of materials that you want to find, Nelson said. They are crucial elements in the formation of our own planet, and they are going to help us determine the origin that help lead to life. They found fucking water on an asteroid traveling through space. What the holy fuck? That's crazy.
Which is still no surprise because, like, even with the gases that are emitting through space, they release forms of hydrogen and oxygen on different compound levels. Like, so much so that, like, we could see the streak of it leaving the asteroid as it's traveling through space. It's what produces a falling star almost. It's like it's the water that's in the rock in itself. But to say that there's water coming from a solid object from deep space, you know, from what reaches. And I'm pretty sure that's what they're trying to figure out because they know about suns and gases, but what's creating these rocks in the water?
Well, and that makes me think, too, when I hear that, you know, that asteroid contained water and crucial life-building elements. What happens if, you know, some of the asteroids that hit in, you know, the early stages of the Earth formation were them type of asteroids, which created water because because at one point in time before, you know, way back before dinosaurs and stuff,
Earth was getting pelted with asteroids.
Yeah.
And that ideally that would be the idea what forms a planet because all these masses of materials combining, you know, it takes a lot of rocks. It's the reason why we have
so much destruction to make something.
Yeah, it's the reason we have plate tectonics. All plate tectonics are just a large mass of rocks held together tightly by a gravitational force. It's basically what it is. It's like the Earth isn't just one solid rock. It's just like a mold of broken rocks sliding over, a magnetic field. And science is trying to discover what draws these materials into these magnetic fields. I would feel that maybe black holes are failed experiments trying to produce a magnetic field where it collapses on itself. But maybe by a different civilization, who knows? That maybe they're trying it with a star to reduce its mass to draw rocks to it. I don't know. It's just science, like quantum physics. It goes way the fuck out there.
Oh yeah.
It just, it's like science is it's a gift and a curse. Because in the wrong hands, man, you could literally blow the planet up. But in the right hands, where a future thrives to survive, in the means of benefiting all mankind, not just yourself, but all mankind, I think it could work. We have the science to do it. Yeah. And like clearly what you just read proves that if we have the math to go 100 million miles on a moving object, land, and come back with no contaminations in the most, I'm going to stop right there, in Utah, of all places.
And then the thing of when I read this, it's great. Like, that's so great. Why can't we do that here? Why can't we do that?
Why can't this level of information be shared with all people to where we can do it collectively?
The innovation to make that happen. Why can't that happen for everybody on the earth to have clean drinking water? Right. You can find it a fucking 100 million miles away.
But you can't find it 2 miles.
You can't find it on the earth. You can't find it why people don't die. Thousands of people don't die of dysentery every year. But we'll take a break.
Yeah, we gotta take a quick 5. Thank you, YouTube. Appreciate you guys checking us out on all major streaming platforms. Check us good. 5,000 W's at thirdcoastpodcast.com.
Yeah, y'all get 41 minutes. That's it.
Okay, we out. On the tube, check out the rest of the episode check out the rest of the episode